But say, you know, failure is a part of life and failure is how you grow. I've said all that stuff before, but it really is a bunch of shit. Half the people talk about failure, you know, they're fucking millionaires sitting back in some nice house or whatever the fuck they're talking about. It makes me fucking nuts. I believe I can talk on failures because I'm still failing today, and I'm living when I'm talking. So for me, failure is something that you should be afraid of, but that's why you should go out there and challenge yourself to fail. Because if you're not failing at something, that means you've set your goals to pass, to succeed at everything you do, which means you're not setting your goals high enough.
What's up everyone, David here, got a new video for y'all today. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so don't miss out. Now, before we get into the main topic of this video, I want to ask y'all a question. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or an advanced lifter, we don't care about that. Anyone who's ever lifted a weight and done a good set, you know, you start pumping out some reps, doesn't matter which exercise, whether it be a bench press, a squat, shoulder press, laterals, doesn't matter. You know that feeling. Yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about. That feeling, that burning pain, that discomfort of my, okay, you know, it's starting to hurt, it's starting to feel like pain, it's starting to burn, it feels uncomfortable, you know. We all have experienced that at some point or another. But the question is, when do you know when to stop exactly? Okay, that pain, that is what you want when it comes to lifting weights. If you want results, you gotta push through that pain. That's what you want, that's what you're striving for. Those reps that feel uncomfortable, those that burn, yeah, that's what you want. Those are the ones that are gonna be giving you the results that you want. But the thing is, especially with beginners, they don't seem to understand that those are the ones that matter. They stop too early. They think that, oh man, okay, it burns, no, I'm just gonna stop. No, you gotta push through the pain. You gotta, you know, you gotta be comfortable getting uncomfortable. If you want results, it's gonna cost you. You gotta work for them, all right? That pain, that burning feeling, that's a reward. You should be pushing through that. And if you're not gonna be getting the results that you want. But the question again comes down to is, how far do you actually push it? Now, I'm pretty sure we've all seen either high-level bodybuilders, gym bros, influencers, you already know, the typical. They always say, oh no, you gotta push through failure, you gotta push through the pain, you gotta go all out, balls to the wall, give it your all. But is that actually really important? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Me, certified personal trainer, I got my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, exercise science. I'm gonna tell you, is training to failure necessary? No, it's not. You don't need it realistically. Now, have I done it in the past? Yes, I have. I've purposely done sets to failure, but is it necessary? Absolutely not. So if pushing to failure is not important, then ultimately what is? When it comes to building muscle, again, the goal is hypertrophy, you know, making you just absolutely yoked, you know, getting jacked, getting swole, building muscle. What is important is to push your muscles to a point where they have no choice but to adapt to the stimulus that you're placing on it. Now, that stimulus specifically is resistance. Doesn't matter whether it's through a barbell, dumbbells, cable machine, or just regular machine, anything you're fighting against gravity, you're forcing those muscles to work. You gotta place enough force on them, enough stimulus to actually force them to say, oh shit, what's this that happening? Oh man, I gotta start trying harder or else it's gonna crush me. No, you need to get to that point. But a lot of people, what happens is they push it too far. They think that they have to go to failure every single set of every single exercise, every day, every week, every month. They think that training failure is the absolute answer to everything. No, realistically, you can look at the research if you want. You can train up to 1 to 2 reps till failure and you'll still see amazing results. And that's where something like RIR comes at. Reps in reserve. So what exactly is that? Let's look at the board right here. We got RIR, reps in reserve. Now, here's what we're looking at. It's gonna be a 1 through 10 scale. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, some of you may have not heard of reps in reserve, but I'm pretty sure you've heard of RPE. And I think what a lot of people think RPE is in reality reps in reserve. It's because a lot of people say, oh man, that was an RPE 9. I could have done 1 more. Man, that was an RPE 5. I could have done 5 more. That's not really RPE. That's RPE is rate of perceived exertion. It's pretty much measuring your difficulty level, and that's more of a subjective measure, because what an RPE of 9 could have been for one person, assuming that means it was really hard because it was almost a 10. 10 means it was absolutely difficult. I went all out. I gave it my all. But again, it's gonna vary from person to person. What they're really thinking of, in my opinion, is reps in reserve, because if they're introducing reps, if they're bringing up the concept of how many more they could have done, then that's reps in reserve. So for a person who did an RIR, reps in reserve of 10, that means that they had 0 reps left that they could have done. A person who has an RIR of 5 means that they could have done 5 more. If a person does an RIR, reps in reserve of 1, that means they could have done 9 more reps. So a lot of people, they assume that RPE is the way they're measuring your progress, but really what they're thinking of is this. And this is really important to understand when it comes to training to failure. What you want to do to build muscle is not go to failure every set. You do not need to train to an RIR of 10 every set. That means you had 0 reps left in the tank, because obviously you failed. No, ideally 1 to 2 reps left in the tank. So this right here, this is the sweet spot. 8 to 9 of an RIR. If you did an RIR, reps in reserve of 8, that means you only had 2 more that you could have done. If you did a level 9, then that means there's only 1 more rep that you could have done. That's a better way to measure the progress. A lot of people say, oh, RPE, I could have done this, it was an 8, but if you look back at them doing it, they blew it up with ease. It was an easy set, they weren't dying. That's not an 8, my guy. That's most likely an RPE 6. This is a better way to measure it. You got to train to a point where you're pushing your muscles to actually force them to grow, but you don't want to push them towards the edge every single time. So that's why 1 to 2 reps until failure is a much better approach than just going to failure every single set. Now, is there ever a time where you should be going to failure on a set? In my opinion, again, this is just my honest opinion. This is just me being real. I think, yes, there are times when you should go. Me personally, from time to time, I will go to failure purposely, but why am I doing that? I'm either doing it to build up, you know, some mental strength to push past the pain. So it's more of like, you know, just a mental thing, like, you know, thinking like hardcore, like I gotta push through the pain. Yes, but it's also to give me a reference point, because a lot of people think, oh no, that was, I went to failure. But if you look at them doing their set, the last one, which apparently was gonna be the last one because they couldn't have done another, actually came up pretty easy. Unless you go all out failure, you will never know what that feeling truly feels like. So that's why, for me personally, I suggest from time to time, yes, you should go to failure on some given exercises, just so you personally have that understanding. You know what failure actually looks like, what failure actually feels like. Record your set if you're just going balls to the wall, absolute all out on your bench, on a squat, on a deadlift, on a shoulder press, on a curl, whatever. Record yourself and just go as many as you can, just all out until you absolutely cannot. And then next time you think that you did all out to failure on that set, compare the 2 videos. The real all out set will obviously look a lot more difficult than this other set that you're assuming was to failure. Again, I suggest just throwing them in there. Doesn't have to be all the time, because again, you'll just burn yourself out. It's just throw them in occasionally, just so you get a feeling and you actually know what true failure feels like. So that way, when you do approach RIR of 8 and 9, you'll know that feeling. You'll have that feeling. You'll understand when it's like, oh man, I feel like I only got 1 or 2 reps left. Oh man, I feel like I only got like 4 more reps, which is an RIR of 6. You have that feeling now in the back of your mind. I've been here before. I know what this feels like. I know how much more I can handle. That will be the only times where I feel it would be appropriate to actually go to failure on a given set, on a given exercise. And also on top of that, think about it. If you're going to failure on your very first set of your first exercise of the workout, don't you think that's gonna affect the rest of your workout? Think about it. Your form is gonna be compromised because you're just so fatigued. You're gonna start cheating the reps. Let's just say you're bench pressing, and instead of having good form like this, now maybe you start flaring the elbows out like this. Your hips come off the ground. Let's just say you're deadlifting and you're doing some good reps like this, but it starts getting too heavy. You're going to failure. Now you start compromising your form. You start rounding your back. Things like that. We don't want that, okay? And just the energy level alone, if you're going all out, just balls to the wall on that very first set, how long do you think it's going to take you to recover until you have to do it all over again? And assuming that you're going to be doing roughly, let's just say 6 sets of a given, you know, body part, that's 6 times that you're gonna have to be going to all out failure. You know how much recovery time is gonna be needed in between each set for you to be fully ready and replenished before you have to hit the next set? Man, that's just gonna be eating away at time, when instead, you could just be aiming for the sweet spot right here and you'll still see amazing results. There you have it, everyone. Those are just my thoughts on the question of whether you should be training to failure or not. In my personal opinion, no, it is not essential. No, it's not important. You do not have to. Just train to 1 to 2 reps until failure and you'll still see great results for building muscle. But again, that's just my opinion. I mean, if you want to look at the literature, you want to read the research, go for it, be my guest. You'll pretty much find the same sayings as what I'm saying right now. Hope this video was helpful. Comment down below if it was. Also comment down below any other video suggestions you would like, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diet, workouts, programs, anything that you need help in. Comment down below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. I'll be more than happy to make that video for you all. Also, be sure to subscribe not just to this channel, but my girlfriend's channel and our couple's channel so you don't miss out on any new videos, because remember, we got new videos across the board for all 3 channels every week. For this channel specifically, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And then for Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on my accounts, girlfriend's accounts, couples accounts. I put all the links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.